Hello, my name is Richard Leggett, and I'm the chair of the Episcopal Election Committee for the Diocese of New Westminster. 161 years ago, about 2 miles up the river to the east and on the south bank, a group of Anglicans met for the first time to create a new parish. That parish, St. John's, eventually moving to the other side of the river, became the first parish in our diocese. 6 months later, here in New Westminster, another group of Anglicans met on the north bank in the old Custom House to establish an Anglican congregation here in New Westminster. And so today I'm standing here in a place which 161 years ago was one of the first parishes in our diocese, and 141 years ago became the center of Episcopal ministry until the cathedral was moved to Christ Church Cathedral in Vancouver. This place is linked to this history, as are the stories of all of our parishes throughout this lower mainland. On Saturday, we're going to take another step in that history. We're going to be electing a bishop coadjutor who will work with Archbishop Melissa and then succeed her when she retires on the 28th of February in 2021. Episcopal elections, even in the best of times, the smoothest of times, are fraught with mystery, uncertainty, and anxiety. An Episcopal election conducted in the midst of a pandemic, well, I have to tell you, it is also fraught with mystery, uncertainty, and anxiety. I'm sure many of us are wondering, how are we going to pull this off? Well, we have to acknowledge that we do trust that God's Spirit is moving in us and through us to achieve this task, and that we will be able to discern who should be the next leader of our diocese as we enter into the next part of our history. But we still have questions. So in order to reduce the stress, demystify the process, and calm some of the anxieties, the Episcopal Election Committee wants to share with you some information about what's going to happen on Saturday the 3rd. The first thing you need to know is that we've spent some months getting ready for this. We've been working with a company called Data on the Spot, or DOTS, a Canadian company based in Toronto that has experience in conducting online elections. They're going to be offering us technical assistance on this project on the day of the election, so that we can more smoothly vote and move through the ballots. We'll also be using a web platform developed by Simply Voting, another Canadian company based in Montreal, who has developed this platform that allows for a number of ballots to be conducted and for people to do so online using their phone, their tablet, or their computer itself, and to tabulate the results quickly and accurately. We've also arranged for one of the most respected video companies in Vancouver to provide a live stream of the synod itself. So whether you're at home or somewhere else, whether you're a member of synod or not, you will be able to participate in the synod. You'll be able to see what's going on. You'll be able to hear the results when they're announced publicly. And you'll be able to join in the prayers as we go through the day. The second thing you need to know is something you already know. This synod is going to be conducted online. Although there will be a small group of people present at Christ Church Cathedral for the Eucharist and then the balloting, no other people will be physically present for this electoral synod. Clergy and lay delegates will remain at home, or if the necessary precautions are taken, and if they so wish, they might want to gather at the parish as a parish group, where they can set up one device to watch the synod and then have a number of other devices that they can use to vote. The Synod itself will begin at 9 o'clock with a celebration of the Eucharist presided over by Archbishop Melissa, where she will also preach. We're going to be using the prayers and the readings for St. Francis of Assisi. You may remember that St. Francis constantly prayed that God would strengthen him to build up the church. So it's quite appropriate for us, as we gather to elect a new bishop, to pray these prayers, asking God to do the same thing in us, that God would guide us, strengthen us, and enable us to elect a person who will work with us to build up the church here and, we hope, in the future. At 11 o'clock, the Archbishop will convene the actual electoral synod, the time of voting. After a few procedural matters, I will present on behalf of the committee the names of the candidates: Alan Carson, Philip Cochrane, Philippa Seagrave Pride, Rusilla Shaw, and John Stevens. If you want to know more about them, you can go to our diocesan website, vancouver.anglican.ca, and learn more about them. After the names have been presented, the Archbishop will call for the first ballot. Each ballot will follow a similar pattern. We'll begin by playing a hymn. Those who are by themselves can sing. Those of us in the presence of other people, we can hum. Then we will invoke the Holy Spirit. We'll have a period of silence, and then a prayer. And then we'll vote. The clergy and lay delegates will follow a link to a website where they will cast their votes. Balloting will remain open for a defined period of time. After the ballots are closed and we get the results, we will do a number of things. The first is we will share the results with the candidates before anyone else knows about them. The candidates have a right to know what the results of the ballot is in order that they can decide what they want to do. In our canons, we have procedures that automatically remove people from a next ballot. If they did not receive any votes in the House of Clergy, the House of Laity, or both houses, a person is removed from the list. If the total number of votes a person receives, that is, adding clergy and lay votes together, is the lowest number of votes, they are removed from the list, unless the total of their votes is at least 20% of the total votes in either the House of Clergy or the House of Laity. A candidate may also choose to notify the Archbishop by email that he or she wishes to withdraw from the ballot. This is their choice. So if they're not automatically removed or they choose to remove, the person would then move to the next ballot. And we continue to vote until there is an election. To be elected, a candidate must receive at least 50% plus one of the votes cast in both the order of clergy and the order of laity on the same ballot. If someone is elected, the Archbishop will ask, "Do you accept election?" If the answer is yes, the Archbishop will then contact the other bishops in the province of British Columbia and Yukon to ask if they concur with the election. This is, by the way, an ancient custom. It goes back well into the 300s. And then, if the candidate says yes, and the bishops say yes, we have an election. And the Archbishop will announce that. The new bishop-elect will then be given an opportunity via the live stream to address the whole synod and to anyone else who is viewing. Here's some of the things that you can do between now and the election on Saturday. Pray for the candidates. Pray for Alan, pray for Philip, pray for Philippa, pray for Rusilla, pray for John. Pray for the Archbishop and the officers of Synod. Pray for those who will be voting. and pray for all of us who are working to provide as smooth an election as possible. We know people are anxious. We know people want this to be done well, and your prayers will help us do that. If you have any questions or concerns, contact the Episcopal Election Committee at our email address, eec@vancouver.anglican.ca. That's eec@vancouver.anglican.ca. We'll do our best to respond to your question or concern in a timely fashion. On behalf of the committee, I thank all of you for the prayers that you are already offering. And I thank you for the many ways in which you are serving God in this place and in these times. May God bless us all. May God bless us as we move towards the election. And may God guide us as we discern the next stage in this history of the Church along the Fraser River.